Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. Today I'm joined by my dear friend Dexagos, also known as Donnie. Or is it okay if I use your real
Yay.
name?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
My dear friend Dexagos, also known as Donnie. Dex is a artist who does a lot of really unique stuff and is always trying something new. And more so than just that, he is a substantial art appreciator and is actually the owner of my first canvas project, which I will show off here whilst Dex is introducing himself. Tell us about yourself, pronouns, what you sort of do, what's your sort of place in the magic sphere.
Hey, my name is Dexagos or Donnie.
This is the
I go
first name.
by either in I go by either in online spaces. For the magic, my pronouns are he, him. For the magic space, I just do a lot of playing of magic, and I am extremely focused on that a lot of the time. Um, and I'm just more recently dipping my toes into more creation of art, um, versus just appreciating art. I am trying a lot of things. And your stream introduction was very appropriate because, oh man, I love Verdant Catacombs, man.
Oh, I'm gonna
Um,
alter it soon, but I'm gonna work on clay stuff while we're talking.
that's fair. Um, it's very appropriate because I am currently playing around with my newest medium of watercolors, which I really, really
Oh,
like
that's
so
cool.
far. Yeah, I had like a huge, not a huge. I tried acrylics, because that's what you're supposed to do with altering cards, and I just couldn't find something that like made me want to actually do it.
Yeah.
And I find watercolors a lot more freeing as far as like you could just let these guys dry out and it's fine. You just add more water, you're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that, and I like a lot of the things I've seen watercolor artists do on different social medias and like I wish there were more like magic pieces that that were definitely watercolor, but there's definitely some. What comes to mind? Oh, I had it and then I lost it. There's several
Yeah.
that I'm pretty sure are watercolor.
I think the artist I had on last week or last time did some watercolor stuff. His name's Scott Kersey. Uh, I think he did watercolor. I could be wrong. It might have been oil. His stuff
Yeah.
his stuff
Um
looks like watercolor.
yeah, it could be like gouache or acrylic gouache too.
Might be.
Yeah.
Acrylic on watercolor paper. Let's see what he did for the one he did for me or did with me. He posted about it and I completely forgot. Let me find it. It's only like a week ago. Shouldn't be that hard to find. Bother. Ah, acrylic on blank cards, so it's like watered down acrylic.
Oh, okay. That's a technique that I've seen with like acrylic paint, and that's what initially like sort of drew me to the medium was like, oh, you can kind of do like watercolor type stuff with acrylic, and it's pretty versatile, and you can use a lot of the techniques that like oil painters use.
Mm-hmm.
Which I've only done like one piece in oils, but I really liked it and it was really fun.
Okay.
Um, so I was kind of like wanting to be more of that space, but more economical and more like, and also something that I could like put on magic cards. But I've just accepted that like I'm not interested enough in painting on magic cards myself.
Yeah.
So like just go ham on watercolors and maybe you can figure something out like if you really wanted to alter magic cards someday
Yeah.
with watercolor. I could probably use gouache and get like the same feel, but like never painted in gouache still.
The other thing is if you like can figure out Photoshop a decent amount, you can always make proxies.
Oh yeah, and like I figured that like it would be very very easy to just get GIMP,
That
find the
would,
right tutorials, and like just use my scanner downstairs, try to set it to high enough DPI, and go burr.
yeah, that's definitely a thing. I'm used to Photoshop, and it's just that's what I learned, so that's what I'm stuck with.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it has its problems, I do, but like usually I can have my artwork pay for Photoshop, not always, but usually,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not a huge deal. Back when Inked Gaming was paying me one more often than they do, and two way more money than they do now,
Mm-hmm.
that was just passive income that I used for like gas and Photoshop and other things.
And that's the art playmat company, right?
Yes,
Or one of them? Yeah.
there's other ones now, but like Inked's still probably the biggest.
Yeah.
But they have done a lot. They've overhauled a lot of their stuff, as well as they've started doing or started encouraging to a degree, which is frustrating. But like I'm not gonna say a whole lot about it because like they still owe me money, and
Mm-hmm.
I still like getting passive income from them. They started doing stuff with AI.
Yeah. I figured they were.
Every playmat company is because other than um like the pay to order ones, AI artists will make like hundreds of different stuff, upload it. People will buy whatever they think looks cool. The company will just pay them later, and that is hundreds of art that took nobody time to make, took no effort to make. Looks bad the more you look at it, but like to people who like don't have a trained eye or people who just don't care, they think it looks great. And
Yeah.
since like every step of the way it's like super easy, it's demoralizing. But I feel I'm in the spot with Inked Gaming where like I still make a good amount from them during the certain on seasons. Like there are off seasons where like people just don't buy playmats.
Mm-hmm.
But when people do buy playmats, I have made up to like 300-400 per pay session. Now usually I
And
only
like
get like on average historically it's been like 100 or so per pay session, which they used to pay
mm-hmm.
me in like a 3 month system. So like I get all the sales for 1 month, then 3 months later I get paid for that month. Now they kind of do it on like a 6 month system or a little bit longer, where it'll take 6 months and all the sales from those 6 months they'll pay me. Then another 6 months they'll pay me for that 6 months, so on and so forth. Which I'm not getting paid as often, but I'm getting paid a little bit more on average. But it's like a one-time thing every 6 months, not once a month, give or take on the dot from 3 months prior. And often
Yeah, that's
I often have to remind Inked to pay me, which is a little bit frustrating.
yeah, that's a weird system and also doesn't sound very good. Just saying.
I'm
For
aware,
the well, yeah. I you're living it. I'm pretty sure you're aware.
but like I like my artwork being accessible to people,
Mm-hmm.
and I like my artwork being accessible to people. I don't like having it behind a huge paywall. I like my art being commercially viable, I guess. And I like my art sort of showing that I can be accepted and what's the right phrase? Um, Profitable on those different like commercial sites.
Mm-hmm.
Inked Gaming
And that's
is a good example of that. I don't get paid a ton. I don't get paid often, and I usually have to remind them. But like all the playmats I've made, other than a handful which have been removed for copyright reasons, are on there. You can buy them. You can like see like who I am, what I've done, all the links of to different stuff I've done. It's a bit outdated, but still. And it used to be $20 per playmat. Now it's like 30. But for $30, no questions asked, you can order one of my playmats and get it within a few days. Usually.
which is like just it's just awesome, right?
Yeah. Now
It's great.
they've had a lot of shipping issues recently, and they've had a lot of payment issues recently. But I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt and just hoping they're going through some stuff and not being malicious.
Well, are they U.S. based?
They're US based.
Okay, then I don't know how much the current state of U.S. affairs would affect their business, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was something.
Yeah. I know a few artists in the Magic sphere have been not screwed over by them, but like the way they're doing things compared to the way those artists were doing things just didn't really work out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the competition from playmats is getting more, um, not intense, but like Inked used to be really the only ones other than like local printers. But now there's Jank mats and Mythic mats or whatever. And
That's two more competitors is a lot more than than you've had before. So
mm-hmm. And they don't have the same artist system that Ink does. They don't have the same like general outreach as Ink does. But they also don't have as much of the not bad will per se, but like baggage, I guess. Best word I can use is
that's
baggage.
yeah, that's not a bad way to put it.
Now, all of them use AI, which is annoying as hell. But it's one of those things where like Inked has just been doing it for so long, like 14 years maybe. And
Yeah, a really long time.
so Inked should know better. Inked should do better, and they don't. So it's whatever. It's annoying, but whatever.
It is unfortunately the scope of the current world.
Mm-hmm. I just pray for the best and give them the benefit of the doubt. I haven't been in the spot where like I desperately need money. There's been a few times where like I could really use it, but I don't like desperately need it. If I
Hmm.
come into another time where I desperately need it, I'll start hounding Inked for my payment. But I usually they're pretty good on getting it to me every 6 months or so. Usually.
Yeah, big keyword on the usually.
Yep. Worst case scenario, I can just pull all my designs from Inked, which is a thing they let you do, and like you own the artistic rights. They're just the printers.
Hmm.
And
And they take some for the printers and pay you for the art the other way.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And the payment's pretty good. I think it was 10%, but like 10% per playmat. If you're selling a lot of playmats, that's not too bad. It's not great, but not bad.
Hmm.
I think at one point I was up to 15%, maybe 20, but I think it was 15. just because that was one of their best sellers with my infamous Salt playmat.
Yeah, which is fantastic design, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. Um, but for how cheap they were, not anymore, but how cheap they were, and how much I was getting, it's like, all right, it's a pretty good deal. Don't get a ton, don't make a ton, but like I make enough to pay small things in Adobe and whatever. But
Yeah, it works, and
it works
that's the important part.
exactly. But like since I still own the artistic rights to all my stuff, I can
Hmm.
at any point say I want it pulled, I want my artist bio deleted. I'm done with this all, and they have to oblige. I don't want to do that. I don't plan on doing that, but like it is a nuclear option.
Yeah, like you have the choice if it's there.
Yeah.
If you need, it's there if you need it.
Mhm. I know a few artists who I think they've done it or they've thought about doing it. I just haven't talked to them about what the outcome of that is. I know Damn Neuromancer. I don't know how to pronounce their name. Damn Neuromancer, Damn Neuromancer, whatever. I also forget their pronouns, but they were having a whole lot of issues like a month ago with Inked because they did like a limited time drop of a playmat,
Hmm.
and Inked had just started getting problems with their playmat shipping because like they overextended themselves, and the limited time drop was like people ordered it and then nobody got it by the time that the artist was
Yeah.
trying to pull the stuff,
Hmm.
if I understand correctly. And then the artist wasn't used to their new payment system and was like, all my clients are expecting this playmat that they've ordered, and also you haven't paid me in forever, and these people want refunds, and you're not giving them refunds, and it's like, yikes.
Yeah, not a good time. Not a good time for anyone
Yeah,
involved.
but it's one of those things where I kind of kept quiet because I knew Inked was going through something, I just didn't know what.
Hmm. Like your rep had contacted you or something.
It's just one of those things where like, um, I have like an art. I usually have an art rep I talk to.
Hmm.
Now I haven't had one in a while, just because they like did a lot of um, restructuring.
Hmm.
But but over the years that they've done restructuring, and they've like tried to like change priorities and change what they were doing and all that, I've kind of like gotten a feel of how they do things,
Hmm.
and usually know when they've not fucked up, but like they're trying things again.
Yeah, they're like implementing a new system, and it's just hasn't worked out the way that they thought it would.
Mm-hmm. Which on one hand has gotten rid of a lot of their art reps that I really liked, but on the other hand is not like terrible. But the owner of the company made like a Facebook video slash TikTok video. I forget the original. Oh, thanks for joining us, questioning Feldergriff. Good to see you. And I'm thanks for joining the stream and just lurking. But anyway, the owner made a video on like TikTok or Facebook, and I don't know what it started on first, saying that they just overextended themselves and that like they're trying to get people their playmats. They just had like a tech issue and then a sorting issue and then just a lot of stuff added up the wrong way.
Mm,
They just
I see.
overextended and such. And since that all happened during the holiday season of all times, it looks even worse.
Yeah, way it looks and feels way worse.
Yeah. So they had a really good sale where if you buy two playmats, you get a third one for free. And people are like, well, that's a pretty good deal for playmats if you're buying them for different things.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, oh yeah, our usual rate of getting you a playmat is like a few weeks, give or take. Sometimes a few days, sometimes a few weeks, whatever. And now it is, we have no idea. Good luck. It's even worse for international ones, which Inked has a lot of international clients.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, usually international ones would take 2 weeks, give or take. I ordered a playmat to somebody in Canada, like December 17th, December 16th. It has still not got to them. And I ordered 3 playmats for a US thing, and Inked got the address wrong and sent it to the place in Canada. And since I had asked them to correct the one, like the 3 of them that got sent to Canada, I'm like, asked them to correct them. They said, well, we'll do what we can, and then they didn't correct it, and they corrected another one. And I caught that one before it got sent out, and that one got sent to me faster. But then the one that they accidentally sent to Canada, the 3 playmats, got to Canada faster than the playmat I had ordered a month prior, and that one still hasn't showed up. And
Crazy.
that was supposed to be a Christmas gift to the person who ordered its partner. So
Absolutely
yeah.
a disaster from their standpoint, certainly.
Mm-hmm. That looks pretty good. So I'm working on. A while back, I was paid to do some artwork for some proxies. I'm being paid for the artwork, not for the proxies. That's legally speaking. And I did
Okay.
um um damn it, what's the 4 mana draw 2 at the beginning of your upkeep or beginning of your draw step?
4 mana, draw 2 at the beginning of your draw
It's an
step.
artifact. It's Howling Mine, but double Howling Mine.
2 Howling Mines.
Oh boy.
That's the name of the magic card. 2 Howling Mines.
Oh gee, Bill,
Just
your
from what
mom
I've
lets you have
said.
2 Howling Mines. Font of
Yeah, of
Mythos.
course.
Font of Mythos. So I made artwork of like this like weird devil looking fountain for Font of Mythos. Let me see if I actually have it. I do. And then designed the proxy. There's the Font of Mythos artwork.
Oh, that's a perfect font of Mythos.
Thank you.
It's actually pretty close to like the horn texture I'm trying now. I am just like painting basically a new profile picture, but in watercolor.
Okay. Finally
And
retiring the
I'm,
old one.
yeah, I like it. Don't get me wrong, but I might not retire the old one entirely. I like a lot of things about it. There's a few things that are still like, this doesn't like make a good sense from an art standpoint. And I think this is like a good exercise for me in
Hmm.
watercolors since I've only really been like painting in them for a few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm currently at time to let the head sit and dry, and while I do that, I'll go to this other corner of the page and mess around with like hair texture, how
Okay.
that's gonna look in watercolors.
Cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out when you're done.
We'll see if I actually get it finished in the stream.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm working on this little clay figure, and then I have that Verdant Catacombs altar, which will look a little bit like this.
Ooh, that's a cool one.
Yeah. I did an arid mesa a while back, and whilst the arid mesa didn't quite turn out how I wanted it to, somebody
Mm-hmm.
still bought it, and they
Hey,
really
can't complain about that.
exactly they really liked it, and I said like I'll sell it to you cheap because like the paint is too thick and um like you can feel it through the sleeve, and all my paints I try to make sure you can't feel it through the sleeve, or if you can it's like minimal
Mm-hmm.
because like they're they're not any legal other than Commander and Cube, just because legal alters have to have like just an extension of the regular artwork. They can't have anything radical.
Mm-hmm. I was able to I thought I was able to play your altars that you did of me for Deafening Silence in
Were
a
you?
legacy tournament.
Were you?
Yeah, well, what I did, I went up to the head judge. Oh, maybe I didn't do that. Maybe I said, "Hey, I have these extra copies of Deafening Silence in my sideboard. They are not actually definite. They're not like sleeved up. They're not cards. I just want to play with the art. So I was going to, when I resolve a Deafening Silence, just pull that art out of my box and use it."
Okay.
And the head judge said, "Okay, pro tip, by the way, for anyone listening, if you have any questions about your Magic tournament experience before your Magic tournament starts, talk to a judge.
Mm-hmm.
They will help you. That's what they're there for. And thank them profusely for judging your events.
Thank your judges. They work really hard.
They sure do." Okay, that worked a lot better for my eye. Now I just need to get the other one on there.
I'm trying to make this little trumpet stand, this horn stand, low to the ground, but still like kind of like freaky looking.
Mm-hmm.
That works.
What are you sculpting?
Uh, this is past plastilina clay, and this is for horn agreed. So I have the horn mostly done. I just need to do some detailing, but I want like a little stand for it to sit on,
Mm-hmm.
and then the work from there is going to be digital.
So you're just like taking good photos of the horn of greed and then coloring it
Digitally,
digitally or
yeah.
okay. That sounds cool.
Mm-hmm. And then I
Is
want
it
to try.
for I presume it's for an altar of horn of greed eventually.
Is for the artwork is what's being paid for, not the proxy. It is for a proxy of horn agreed,
Yeah. Yeah.
and uh, I'm going to try to make it in the style of a weird book, game guide, fantasy thing I like. That's called Vermis.
Oh, so kind of in the vein of like a D&D item picture description, but like not because it's clay and in more in the style of the RPG you're talking about.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So that was what I did for
But I just need to get this figure right. And I have to do it not how I'm used to doing it. I'm used to doing it like I hold it close to my chest so I can like get the details right. I have to do it on
mm-hmm.
camera, so I have to do it at certain angles. I like working in clay. I've done a lot of really cool stuff in clay. I once made like a whole trophy almost, where like I made the whole clay figure, then I casted it in plastic. Like I made a mold of it in
Yeah.
a mold thing, and then if I had made the figure less dynamic, I could have made a metal version of it that I would have turned into a trophy for a CDH event, but I made the main figure too complicated, and something like that metal casting would have been nigh impossible, at least successfully. So I ended up having to redo the whole process and make a way simpler mold,
Mm.
and I made a trophy with that, and it didn't turn out how I wanted it to, but like the company accepted it and didn't sue me, so that's good at least.
Oh, that's good.
They didn't hire me again, but they didn't sue me, so pros and cons.
Hey, they accepted your work.
Yeah, that's the least I can ask for. And I still have the original um clay. I have the original molded figure for the what was originally supposed to be the trophy as like a glorified paperweight.
Oh, that's cool.
I've tried scanning it in with damn it, what's the phrase? Photogrammetry, I think it is. Like you take a bunch of pictures of something and then like they get scanned and modulated together and then they make a 3D model. I tried doing that with it, but it was also too complicated. So I need to do it with a
No,
better scanner. And then
yeah.
I might 3D print it later.
Your local library might have a pretty good scanner.
My local library I know does not. The Dayton local library I think might, but I don't live close enough to that library to utilize it.
Mm.
And that
Okay.
library has been partially due to the stuff with the current administration and partially due to teenagers mishandling the library. They've gotten rid of some of their more modern tech opportunities and solutions.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah, so it's just whatever. I have a friend of mine who has like 2 or 3 Xbox Connects, and those things are great for scanners. I just need a time
You
to
know,
hang out with them.
I never really thought of it like that, but yeah, they would be.
Mm-hmm. They're not perfect, but like they're good. And also there's also apps on Apple now where depending on how good your camera is, you can do photogrammetry or whatever, and it'll generate the figure for you on your phone. It'll use up a whole lot of battery and a whole lot of processing, but it will do it, and then you can import the model to a OneDrive or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm also half tempted to do, but I just haven't. It's not been a high priority. I've just been doing other things.
Yeah, that is fair.
So,
I'm sort of at the
you know,
same point with a lot of things after work in my life, but yeah, you were saying?
so you mentioned a little bit of it, but tell us about your art. What do you do?
Um, a bit. Uh, my art making is entirely a hobby and fun for me right now. I do a little bit of sketching and filling out sketch pages of sketchbooks, but I'm still working on my first one, so I don't do a ton of it. Um, I've done some digital stuff before. I've done some oil stuff before. I've done some acrylic stuff before. And currently I'm on a watercolor kick, and I really like watercolor as
Okay,
a medium so far.
cool. I'm giving this little stand some toes.
Oh, that's a fun detail.
Yeah.
I am in the I have painted the horns I've committed to a color and a horn angle composition for this new profile, quote unquote.
Nice.
Um, so we'll see how that goes.
Mm-hmm. Need to use. I need to think of how I'm going to take a picture of this thing. I could make a light box, but it'd be white paper with white clay, or whitish clay. It's like tan, but I'd get better shadows on white than I would on black.
Mm-hmm.
I'll figure it out later. Just gotta keep molding this figurine.
You could do like a gray box.
I could. I just don't have a whole lot of gray box things.
Um, could you do like a shoebox, cut out one side, and then paint the interior like a matte gray?
I could, or I could just use. I could just make a cardboard box for it.
A cardboard box would also be good. That would also be just all one color. That's what I was getting for.
Yep, that probably would be way smarter anyway.
Listen, I don't claim to know everything, but I claim to know some things.
All I have to do is find a cardboard box that's big enough, which shouldn't be too hard. But yeah. So I know one
Yeah.
of your big passions is music. Listening to good music recently.
Honestly, I have listened to almost the same exact 6 songs whenever I listen to music on the way to work. I can talk about all of them in detail.
Go for it.
The first is by a band called Ben Quad. It's called Joan of Hill. Um, and it's kind of about like your own like it's how the viewer views themselves as a person, and this is and their word that their view and their perception of the world and how it is how it's always going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, that's a terrible color for this application. Sorry.
Ultra.
Um, well, I didn't use it. I just put it down on my palette to remind myself how it looked. I guess I also have a swatch card that I've made that I could, do that with. Um, I could do this. Um, and then I listened to Fly Move the Whole Time by Hot Mulligan,
Okay.
which is another song that is in a similar enough vein here. To where like the singer has basically the same tasks to do every day. Um, or does basically the same tasks to do every day and is in their own head a lot. And ignores a lot of life's responsibilities because it's a lot for the singer.
Yeah.
Um, and then I take a swift turn because then it's Phenomenon by Chappelle Roan,
Okay.
which is about hey, men suck.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and then it's oh shoot, it's Red Wine Supernova by Chappelle Roan,
Okay.
which is hey, you're hot in a lesbian way.
Of course.
Um, and then it's Pink Pony Club,
Also by Chaperone.
again by Chappell Roan. Uh huh. Which is like, hey, I want to dance at the club. My mom's gonna hate it, but my mom ain't in San Diego. Not San Diego.
West Hollywood.
Yeah, West Hollywood,
It's in.
Santa Monica.
It's Santa Monica, West Hollywood. You're right. Those are the lyrics.
That's what I was trying to think of was Santa Monica, not San Diego. Um, and then it is Feel Like Crab,
What?
misspelled, by Hot Mulligan,
Okay.
which is like I kind of feel bad.
That's
I
it.
don't I it's like I feel bad. I'm not worth a lot. Just
Ah.
ignore me.
Ah.
Um, and those are pretty much the exact same. I vary a little, but those are the 6 songs that I generally start my uh commutes with if I'm in the mood to listen to music.
That's fair. I've been trying to expand my musical horizon a little bit. Sometimes I'm better at it than others. I've been having a mostly weekly listening party for various albums with my friend Checkbox Evelyn, and
Yeah. How's that been?
it's been decent. There have been a few nights where I'm not really like vibing with the album, but I still listen to the whole thing just to be polite. And then Evelyn sometimes suggests like smoking a little bit before some albums, just so like you can like get yourself into the headspace to like deeply enjoy the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that works out really well, like really well. Other times it works out too well, and I just get sick. Just because the little weed vape cart thing I have, it used to be a lot weaker, and for somehow it's gotten stronger, and um, I catch myself thinking, oh, it's weaker, so I'll take a little few more hits of it. Then I take too many hits of it. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, I am dying.
Yep.
So like
The
the last one we listened to was Kendrick Lamar's "Damn," which I really enjoyed it. The whole first half I really enjoyed, and then like I kind of like spaced out for like the last three or four songs, and I
hmm
had to re-listen to them, and then like I listened to them, really enjoyed them, and then I had to re-listen to the last Duckworth or whatever, which is the last track. I had to re-listen to that one like an hour later because like I heard it, I processed it, and I completely forgot about it. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is the thesis of the album. I need to re-listen to this. So after like I threw up, which I never enjoyed doing usually, um, I gave myself a little bit, kind of centered myself, meditated for a few minutes, and for a few minutes I was high. So a few minutes could have
hmm
been like 5 minutes, or it could have been like an hour. Um, and then re-listen to Duckworth. I think is the final track. I'm like, oh, I really get it now. Thank you.
Sounds tight.
Yeah,
Sounds
it was
very
good.
good.
It was good.
As an aside to this, album listening underrated. Everyone should listen to albums, like full complete albums, more
Oh, for sure.
than they probably already do.
I fully agree. Let me get back. Yeah, I fully agree. And I want to get back into vinyl collecting because I really enjoy doing that. It's expensive, but like I don't do it that often. It's just my whole vinyl collection is at my buddy's house in storage, and the vinyl player I do have isn't great. It's okay, and I don't have anywhere to set it up other than this little office slash like media room I'm in.
hmm
But there's I thought it was a CRT TV. I think it's not, but it's still good for vintage gaming because like I used to do vintage gaming on it.
Yeah.
There's a huge TV that I've been trying to get rid of for a while. You and I talked about that in the past.
I was about to ask, was it the same like 4:3 TV that you showed me the last time? No, it's
Yeah,
not 4:3.
it's not for
Is
three.
it? Yeah, I didn't think so.
No,
Well,
it's not.
I thought so, and then I thought so, and then I corrected myself.
No,
Anyways.
but the thing is, like, it's big and it's connected to everything in the room,
hmm
and um, it's one of those things where I need to get rid of it eventually. but because of how big it is, I'd need help, like 2, 3 people.
Hey, just invite me over to Huber Heights again.
Hey, you want to come over to Huber Heights again? Yeah,
Well, I can't come this weekend, but
yeah. But also, I need to sell it just because, like, my mom will. If I give it away for free, my mom will be like, okay.
yeah,
And like, I'll sell it for like $200-300, which is about how much it's worth because it's in pretty good quality. And like, it's not a CRT TV, but it's close. And
yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like, this is great for vintage gaming. It's just massive. At least if I remember it being good for vintage gaming. I played Wii, PlayStation 2, and NES on it, and they all look pretty good. So that might just be hearsay.
I mean, I think any like old classic games collector would appreciate such an item.
Yeah.
Because like, how are they gonna get? It's not very often that they're gonna get something that um big, that's pretty good for gaming on their with their preferred method that often.
Mm-hmm. I just need to do some more research into exact what make and model it is, and double check to see if it still works. And it's work I need to do. I just haven't done. But once I
Hmm.
get that out of the way, the room is set up for pretty good surround sound because my pap will refigured the room a little bit,
Hmm.
and there's 2 speakers. I'm pointing at them. I'm talking to you. You're not going to see it. There are 2 speakers like bolted to the wall that at the time were like top of the end RCA speakers. And like when we had movie night set up, the acoustics in the room were fantastic. So like if I can refigure that surround sound to fit with a vinyl player and then just kind of refigure the room a little bit, it will be phenomenal. It's just something I need to do. But my computer speakers aren't too bad and my headphones are pretty decent. So if I like want to like deep listen to an album, I'll just put on YouTube music and then just like space out and listen to it.
One of the best ways to listen to an entire album. Another way, in my personal opinion, is just loading into your car for like an hour and driving around. But
I
I
fully
get it.
agree. I just don't drive.
Uh huh. I
Well,
was about to make a comment to that effect. Like, I get it.
my
And then, well, there's multiple ways to enjoy like the things that you enjoy.
my ex and I used to like listen to a whole lot of music in the car and just drive around and such. But that was long ago. Every now and then I get moments where like I'm hanging out with a friend and we're driving a bunch and like I tell them about some music, they tell me about some music and we put it on and like listen to it a little bit, turn the volume up, turn the windows down a little bit and just vibe with it. But it's rarer than I like it to be. But it's whatever.
Yeah. The last time I think I did that was with my friend Alina, and we were driving back from our both of our first experiences with a hot pot place, a Korean
Oh
like
nice.
hot pot barbecue type place. And I was driving her back to her home, and I was like, oh, "There's this really sick album by Origami Angel."
Okay.
And we were just talking about it, and then I went like, "Wait, why don't we just listen to Somewhere City?" So we did. It was a great time.
What album is it? I'm gonna text it to you just as a reminder to myself.
It's called Somewhere City by Origami Angel. It's about, well, it's a lot of songs about the meditations of being part of a larger city community.
Interesting. That's neat.
A- And it's such a neat like piece. Um, and a lot of the songs like stand up on their own,
Okay.
like outside of the context of the album too.
Mhm.
Which you can't say for like a lot of. Well, you certainly can't say for like a ton of Hot Mulligan songs.
Yeah.
Um, but Origami Angel, that's a great band for just like picking a random song and playing it because it's probably good.
Okay. I've been trying to listen to more albums recently. I think the one album I listened to it a whole lot last year, just kind of passively, and then I like deep listened to it once, and it just really stuck with me. Is
Hmm.
Congratulations by MGMT.
Oh, I
All
haven't heard that album in a really long time.
all of MGMT stuff's pretty good, but as a cohesive album experience, I think Congratulations is probably their best. I like Little Dark Age. I have Little Dark Age on vinyl. I like Loss of Life, but like Loss of Life is just kind of like it has some dissonant moments where like it's one vibe and then it's another vibe. There's
Hmm.
their Oracular Spectacular is like very like single heavy, and like
Hmm.
the singles are kind of so much different than the rest of the album. The B sides are good, but it's one of those things where like if you hear Kids, Electric Feel, and Time to Pretend, and then you hear like one of the B sides, you're like, whoa, this is a little bit different. And then self-titled, I've listened to a few times. I just couldn't get into it. But Congratulations is just a phenomenal ride from beginning to end. I want to pick it up on vinyl eventually.
Yeah,
Then
I
Amigo the
don't think I've
Devil
listened
Volume
to
1's
that
pretty good
since it
too.
was. Yeah, I don't think I've listened to that since I was like house sitting for my cousin. Um, and me and one group of friends were just like talking, sitting in a Discord server, talking
Hmm.
about music, listening to said music. I think that was when we listened to it.
Yeah. Now also I've listened to the album High a few times and it is phenomenal because like if it's not like one of those albums where like the tracks blend into each other really well.
Hmm.
It's ones where like they're very unique vignettes, but the vignettes all have the very similar sonic landscape, and they feel like they go on longer than they do, and you're like, oh, this song's not that long. It just feels long, and then it gets to like a 12-minute long epic that feels really short. Like it's long, but it's like it's chopped up a little bit and it's in different segments, and um, it is phenomenal. It's so good. Um, and like then it just goes. I think the album flips after Siberian Breaks. Let me check. Siberian Breaks is the 12-hour long album. It's a 12-minute long song. But I think that's the album flip. And MGMT does pretty good job with their album flip ones. So like if you're listening to it on vinyl, you take the flip into consideration.
Hmm.
Let me look at the album. Not a song, the album. And then In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, I really like. I've listened to that a good amount.
There we go.
What's the? It doesn't tell me the vinyl flip on the Wikipedia. Discogs, double LP. Congratulations. It is No, it's only like $25. That's not too bad.
Oh, yeah, that's not bad at all.
So the first side is the first three songs. Then the B side is two songs. Then the whole first half of the second album is the 12-minute long track, and then the back side is the last three tracks. So a whole album side of a double LP is devoted to one track.
I was gonna say that's odd album layout, but I get it.
Yeah, I think they kind of had to do it because of the 12-minute long track.
Yeah, probably.
What other printings are there? Seal versions. Uh, bunch of credits. 49 versions. Let's see what the CD. CD's all one side. Double LP limited edition. CD, CD, CD. It was released in 2010, so it's mostly going to be CDs.
Yeah, that was before the big like album recraze.
Yeah.
Oh, my cat is really trying to get some pets out of me.
Oh.
She always does. She always does this when either of us are painting or doing art.
So the average price for the good version of the album is like $50. That's not too bad. That's the heavier weight vinyl.
Yeah, that's not too bad at all, really.
No. I'll pick it up sometime. Then also it might get re-released because it's I don't MGMT is part of their own label now,
Hmm.
but I wouldn't be surprised if as like a special like re-release for its 15th anniversary they re-release it because it's gotten a lot of cultural um revisiting recently.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did it for like their 20th either,
Yeah, but I don't want to wait that long.
or just like both, or
Yeah,
just like both. Yeah, their 15th would work a lot better. Because that would be this year.
it would be, but I don't want to wait that long. So I don't wait for the 20th. I'll just I'll just buy the damn thing if I'm able to.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, don't break your toes off. I'm
Oh,
trying.
you're talking to
Yes, I'm talking to you.
the
Don't
Horn
break
of
your toes
Greed.
off.
Well, I'll do my best. Fun, relevant fact that is sort of, I don't know, divine comedy, divine intervention. I don't know. I'm not your parent. Um, Horn of Greed was in my first commander deck,
Oh, nice.
which was Omnath, Locus of Rage.
It's a good commander.
It was a really good commander because I was just like, well, I really like it when I hit my land drops and cast my spells. I don't like spending a lot of money on mana bases. Let's just build like a 40 basic land or like a 30 some basic land plus um some lands that help me get more lands into play quicker, like terrain generator or whatnot, ramp spells and elementals.
Yeah.
And that was my first commander deck. It was not fun when I played against a random Narset player and they cast Armageddon on turn. They
That's
cast
awful.
Armageddon on turn.
Sounds
They were just
terrible.
like, "Hey, can I?" They were just like, "Hey, can I play Commander with you all?" And I was like, "Yeah." We were like, "Yeah, sure." And it was like me, my friend Chris, and I think it was probably my other friend Devin, probably. And they just went like, "Okay, Armageddon."
heinous, absolutely heinous.
And I was saddened. But now we have the bracket system,
Wow, the brackets.
which hopefully means that won't happen as often.
You hope so, but what they consider game changers are like they are they give a clear picture, but with a lot of open room. And then
Yeah.
they also distinguish between extra turn spells and land disruption. And it makes extra turn spells and land disruption practically game changers. So if you have extra turn spells or disruption, but you don't have game changers, you practically have game changers.
Mhm.
So, and like land disruption can range from like back to basics or blood moon, which really aren't that bad, to like um Armageddon, which is really bad. And extra turn spells can range from Time Sifter, which is annoying but not that bad, at least if you like you're playing and trying to have some fun,
Mhm.
to the Turbo Fog Pioneer, whatever that card was. The Sarkon extra turn spell, the one that loops.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
The the one that my friend Michael plays almost religiously in almost anything that he can.
It's a good
I
card.
want,
It's just one of those
I
things where
want
like if you can loop it way too easily.
You sure can. There are several modern, well, there are a couple of modern decks that are built on that. They're not really popular right now because they can't get to um turn 5 to really begin effectively looping it.
Yeah.
Because it's your boy Underworld Breach.
It was really good in Pioneer, and then it got banned in Pioneer.
Yeah, likely just for the slightly better.
Mm-hmm. I'm giving this little statue a skirt. Like the thing holding the
I was gonna
horn.
say the horn itself or
The
the statue.
the holder, the hilt.
How much are you using the like the original art as inspiration for the pedestal?
I mean, not a whole lot. The pedestal I'm making very like Beetlejuice-ish. And then the horn itself I'm making a little bit more so this is the horn itself. I have just the general horn, and then I have these little tentacles coming out, and then these like rings around the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna and I want to carve in some details for it, and maybe have like a little skeleton hand or something. I might just inscribe details onto it. I just have it stand on this little pedestal and call that the piece, and take a picture of it and color it and all that. I'm trying not to overcomplicate this because I have to do a bunch of digital work on it too. So, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. So, a while back, I posted a thing where a sequel to a book had come out. And you're like, well, hey, I'm doing very well. I understand you're going through a hard time. Here's money to buy the book. That book is kind of what I'm using for inspiration for this piece.
Oh.
Yeah.
I might need a reminder of the book.
It's called Vermis 2. I'll send you Vermis
Oh,
1.
oh, duh. Yeah, you already said that. You already said that. Should have remembered that.
It's
But
fine.
I am currently distracted trying to mix the color for um what will probably just eventually be like um a little tongue blip for this little guy.
Hmm.
Just obsessing over the exact shade between like alizarin crimson and burnt sienna that I want. So really like that. It needs to dry up a little bit, but other than that, it's fine. Yeah, I really like that. It's like a brighter burnt sienna. But while that's drying up a bit, I'm gonna go back in with some of the hair color and do the rest of the hair.
Cool. Then I got
Yeah.
distracted. So an old friend of mine's husband does like does game design, but he's recently been making like his own ice creams.
Oh,
And
that's fun.
he said one of his favorites is Red Bull ice cream or Red Bull sorbet or whatever, something along those lines.
Okay,
And that sounds
I'm still
really
with
good.
you.
Because I like the flavor of Red Bull, and I like ice cream slash sorbet a lot. So I'm like,
Mhm.
I want to try this. But his husband's also a furry, and I know his husband plays Magic because that's how I met his husband is through playing Magic. So I messaged him on Facebook because he has like two different Facebook ones, and they're both different names. One of them's like,
Mhm.
for lack of better phrasing, one's like a porn star name, and the other one's like a regular ass name.
Mhm.
So I didn't know what one to message him under, either the porn star name or the regular name. So I messaged him under his regular name, and um, he's like, "Oh, that sounds really cool. Let me think about it." Um, and then he said, "But I use the porn star name more." He didn't say that, but like that was kind of what he implied. So I'm just laughing. It's like, okay, well, goes to show me and my assumptions. I should have messaged the porn star first. He's not an actual porn star, but he does like adult sex work type stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit more sexually open, a little bit more body positive, and the other one's a little bit more restrained, a little bit more quieter, from what I can gather. So
Yeah, one's the family Facebook and the other is I don't care who you are Facebook.
exactly, I just didn't know which one to message. How do I make this stupid
Yeah,
skirt?
don't like how that turned out, but that's okay. I don't know. Well, I'm not gonna mess it up. I'm not gonna mess it up right now. I'm just gonna live with the size of my head.
Is your head too
I
big?
made my head just it's just a little bit too big.
Ah,
But like I think it's fine, but it's not, but it's fine. I'm about to get my eye color in there.
okay.
I'm pretty much done with it. The eye color is just the last thing, just because, well, that's I was given the white plenty of time to dry, and I want a little bit of green in this blue, just some flecks of. We'll go with the sap green.
Oh yeah, the concept for the 12-minute long track is surfing in the Arctic Circle.
Sounds like a fun thing to like envision through song.
Yeah. The song is called Siberian Breaks.
Currently, I'm listening to the music of the train as it passes through town.
Oh, that's good music. I did have an
Um,
idea a while back where I have some friends who are audio engineers of
mm-hmm.
just like recording things and making like lowercase music or like lo-fi music where like it's not quite what you'd expect, or just like deeply record things from a unique perspective.
Like the sounds of the city if you were a bug.
Or the sounds of a busy intersection in a suburban neighborhood when you are locked in a car outside of a bank. Not a bank being
Yeah, I could
robbed,
see that.
just a bank.
Yeah, you're just locked in a car. Like you're a kid, your your parent was like, wait in the car,
Yeah,
and then put the child locks on and the normal locks on.
exactly. The sounds of that. There's no radio, there's no sound other than your breathing and whatever you say or talk to yourself about.
Mm-hmm.
But the audio recording would just be the straight audio. It wouldn't be. There might be some breathing, not in like a freaky way, just like a general like sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like a average breath.
yeah, and just recording that for like 40 minutes, making it a Spotify track. You can even chop it up into some segments, like just um, conceptualize what these different segments of a 45-minute recording of sitting alone in a car locked outside of a bank at a suburban intersection in like a medium-sized town, and just conceptualize what each like 3-minute long track would be, and then separate the
Mm-hmm.
tracks, put the album on Spotify or SoundCloud, and that's the whole thing.
And I could see like that being a really good like this is a 24-hour live stream now type thing, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. And then the other one I thought of that'd be really cool is listening to a whole album, and it can be just like a pop album or whatever, but like something older while taking a
Mm-hmm.
shower, not in like a sexy way, but like from the perspective of someone taking a shower. So like the speaker playing the music would be in the bathroom in like a back corner, and then the main recording equipment would be probably like secured or like a spot outside of the water, record like where the water is,
Mm-hmm.
but still past the shower curtain near the water. So you're listening to this album, but you're listening to it in a sonic landscape where like you're almost taking a shower.
But you're not. You're just like listening to the person like sing along to whatever.
Yeah, and you're not even hearing the sing
And
along. You're just hearing it from a different perspective. That perspective being in the shower.
mm-hmm.
And it's like one of those videos where like you hear music playing in an empty mall. It's the same concept as that. It's just like a little bit more intimate, but not in like a
Mm-hmm.
sexy way, but intimate as in like a close way.
Yeah.
But I have no idea how to do that. I just thought it was like, oh, that's a very unique sonic experience.
I've done some stuff like that before. Or like I was in college and we did a concert that um it either had a band piece that was written in the wake of JFK's assassination or it was written around something for like um John Glenn or an astronaut or something like that. And we had a speech. Oh no, now I remember what it was. It was a band piece that conceptualized what I Have a Dream, the I Have a Dream speech musically was.
Interesting.
So we took an excerpt from that uh, speech, and we had to do a little bit of editing and a little bit of like, just like, how do we make this work and how do we make these clips like blend and sound naturally better together, which we
Mhm.
just did in Audacity in our school's uh, piano lab, which is fun.
Oh, that sounds
That
fun.
was some good times with me. That was some good times with me and my friend Brandon.
Okay. Sounds neat. But it's one of those general ideas where I have it, I just have no idea what to do with it. And like nobody in their right mind would put their recording equipment in a shower.
Oh, I bet there would be somebody who would do that.
Yeah, but then they'd want to make it dirty, and that's not the point.
They'd be like, I better be getting something out of this.
Yeah, like the point is not to be like, it's the point is to be intimate, but not in like a sexy way, but in like a closeness way.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're more or less making like white noise, but like not actual white noise, like weird white noise.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what to call it other than like weird white noise.
Don't want it to do that.
But anyway, so how did you start working on artwork? What you mentioned it a little bit on and off, but like, what sort of drives you to keep doing all these different things? What's your main inspiration?
Finding my lane.
What?
Like, finding my lane.
Okay.
Finding what, like, makes. That was my hair color, so I can't use that. I can't use that for my detail color. Um, it was like finding what is both fun to make as like someone who's just doing this casually and someone who's just like trying to have fun but also still trying to work towards something, work towards some amount of improvement,
Mhm.
and still be something that I can just do what I ultimately want to do, which is like I kind of feel like just doing something.
Damn it! Don't lose
Grab
your
the
toes.
palette,
I've lost a goddamn
grab the
toes
pa-
again.
grab the palette, grab some cups of water and your little and some paintbrushes and just start making stuff something.
Yeah. Sorry for
Sort
interrupting.
of
It's
like
these goddamn toes are bugging me.
it's the freaking toes, man.
It's the toes.
Um, it's the toes. Sort of like how I initially wanted to like learn through code,
Yeah.
or like the best way to learn something is just by doing it and failing.
Mhm.
And that's sort of what I wanted to do in still something that was reasonable.
Yeah.
And now I think I've like with watercolors right now, I feel like I found that where I can make a lot of the stuff that I want to make um, in the way I want to make it, and I just get to do.
Mhm. Hell yeah.
Um, like we went to our local arts and crafts store this weekend, and Darcy helped me pick out a watercolor palette, different from what he had used,
Mhm.
just because he had like a generic one that was still good, but he had some personal misgivings with or didn't like. So I was like, well, okay, let's see what I can get. That I haven't run into these problems yet with this art palette, but I want to see what like you as a creator who have done a lot more in art, what you think would be good. So we went there, we picked out this little. It's just this little like Winsor and Newton. They call it like the Pocket Sketchers pack or something,
Mhm.
and it uses their Cotman line of watercolors.
Neat. I don't know what any of that is.
Um, Winsor and Newton has a few lines of watercolors. Um, they're like they have a professional artist grade brand, and they have their Cotman line, which is half the price, and it's meant to be like for students in college and whatnot.
Okay.
So that's what it is. And a pocket palette is basically just it is what it says on the tin. A little palette that you're meant to be able to fit in your pocket, and it has a little tiny collapsible brush in there. It's got 12 paints that you can use to paint a lot of things, and it's got several little mixing trays so that you can mix around your colors in and stuff like that. And I have been having a blast
Hey, that's
with it.
good. That's good to hear.
So yeah, I found what drove me to do weird stuff. I found to find what I really wanted to do with it, and now I think I found it for at least now.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna. Sorry, I'm putting in some lines.
But thank you for joining me. Or we're not done yet. We still have a little bit longer, but thank you for joining me.
No problem. It's fun.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Sorry, I was sitting down and putting in some details on the horns of my satyr,
Yeah.
and I have just like two more things to do. I gotta put in one more detail line, and I'm gonna try to touch up the color in one of my eyes.
Okay.
All right. No,
I made this little
I've stiffed
skirt
it.
for the horn. Here's the little stand. We look on Discord. So it has these little toes. And like it's kind of kneeling down. Not like blowjob stance, but like kind of blowjob stance.
Just a little bit, you know. Hey, horn agreed. What do you think that horn's used for?
God damn it. That's pretty good. Hey, baby, what's that horn agreed to? But,
Of course, I went in for a little bit more detail and I messed it up.
oh no, that sucks.
Well, luckily, if you act quickly enough with watercolors, you can just grab a paper towel, dab it up. Or at least what I've learned through doing this, you can make a mistake, grab a towel real quick, dab it up, wait for it to dry, and then you can layer in your color again. Which you don't need to worry about your color drying out. It's still there. It's just dried out in your palette. You just add water.
Got it.
See, it's perfect for me,
Nailed it.
someone who makes some mistakes.
Yeah,
Well, we all make mistakes, but you know what I mean.
exactly.
All right.
I think I will leave the stand as is. I want to start inscribing on the horn itself, but I'm going to prime an altar first just because we have to wrap up here in 6-7 minutes, and I don't want to get deep into the weeds of customizing the thing and have the episode run too long.
That is fair. I am almost done with my piece. I'm just gonna undiff my diff,
Yeah.
and then I just gotta let it dry, and then
How's Darcy doing, by the
it's
way? I know
done.
you said mentioned he came home not feeling great.
Yeah, he had a migraine for
That's
pretty
not
much
good.
all day. No, it is not.
Is he doing better now? It's been like an
Um,
hour and a
he is
half.
currently sleeping behind me.
Good to hear.
He is not sleeping behind me.
Ah, ask how he's doing.
How you doing? Still not good.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry. Tell Darcy I hope he gets feeling better.
Drew hopes he gets feeling better. He says thank you.
That works for me.
Is still wet enough? Ooh, it is. Okay. I can fix my eye.
I had a really bad migraine the other night, and then I made it worse unintentionally by drinking absinthe.
Oh yeah, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, so I've been doing trivia on Wednesday nights with a friend of mine, and
Yeah.
it's at a local bar, and like they have like $15 burger and beer nights. So for $20, I can get a burger and two beers because their beers are like $4 or $5, which is
Mhm.
pretty good deal. Not great, but not terrible.
Yeah.
Um, and we were doing it for a while and really enjoying it, but then I kept like suggesting they ask them questions that would like really throw people for a loop. Not in like I know I wouldn't be able to answer them, but just for like for other people.
Mhm.
And they're like, oh, these are really cool. Actually, do you want to help us run trivia on Tuesdays at another bar in downtown? Well, sure, I'd love to, but I can't drive. We'll give you a ride. Just make sure to write a bunch of questions. Sure, perfect, I can do that. And I did it this prior Tuesday and the Tuesday before that. And my questions are fairly challenging. Some easier than others, but fairly challenging for the most part.
Mhm.
And I had a bit of a headache going into, a bit of a migraine going into this prior Tuesday. And I'm like, maybe if I drink something, I'll get feeling better.
Mhm.
And they had a little cocktail that was like a house special where it was like Sprecker's root beer and like their house absinthe. And I'm like, well, I've not had absinthe before, and I like root beer, so this should be something a little bit different and something familiar. I was going to get a Moscow Mule, but the lady I was with said the Moscow Mule wasn't very good. So I'm like, I'll get this. It surely won't be that bad. And it didn't taste terrible. It was very strange. And it tasted like if you soaked one of those old root beer candies in rubbing alcohol and gave it like
Mhm.
just an idea of a licorice flavor, which is what like anise is.
Anise. Yeah.
Yeah, but like a root beer candy with like anise and just like alcohol fumes was like just not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I drank the whole thing. I ate some of the ice just to help my headache a little bit. But like the longer the night went on, and like we ended trivia, we got there at like 6:30, set up, started trivia at 7, ended trivia around like 8:30, 8:45, and left at 9, give or take. I got home like 9:30 ish, and from when I finished the drink at like 8:15 to when I got home and um like got ready and like took off my shoes, all that, the the migraine had got so much worse. Like I was on the verge of throwing up, and like I was talking to a lady I've been talking to romantically, and also talking to my ex who has I've reconnected with a little bit. I want to lay down and take my meds and go to bed, but I can't do that if I'm on the verge of throwing up because
Mhm.
I don't want to throw up my meds. And so like I forced myself to stay up, and then like I think I got over a wave of sickness. I'm like, all right, I'm feeling a little bit better. I better get some food in me just in case. And like I made like ramen.
Mhm.
It's not like bad ramen. It's not like Maruchan ramen. It's like a few degrees up. It's Shin Black ramen if that's any context.
Yeah, I get that because that's the ramen I normally buy.
It's so good, at least for what you get.
Mhm.
And I made some of that. I'm like, oh, I feel much better now. I still have that migraine, so because I ate in like the dark
Mhm.
or like very low light, very low sound, and like I didn't even listen to YouTube all doing all that. But I felt much better after eating. I'm like, all right, I don't feel like I'm gonna throw up. And then I went to bed, sat down for meds, took my meds. I'm like, okay. Then I meditated for a little bit, then went to bed. Woke up and like migraine was gone, but like there was a brief window there where I'm like, I'm going to throw up and it's going to be terrible. And this absinthe weird root beer drink did not help at all.
No, it wouldn't. I had a friend in college who had an absinthe story of I took one shot of absinthe, I felt fine. I took a I felt fine. I took a third shot of absinthe. I woke up next to somebody who I didn't know.
I
And
wouldn't
that is
say
the
it's,
entire absinthe story.
I wouldn't say it was that bad, but like I can see where it gets there.
Because, like, well, you're not supposed to drink absinthe with shots. You're supposed to drink it with diluted with a fair bit of water and sugar.
Yeah, it's not that strong, but it can back a punch.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But the trivia did go well, so I'm at least thankful for that.
That's good.
My questions weren't too. They were challenging, but not too hard. And I had a few questions in there like either like nobody would get or like one team would get and the other teams would like try to figure out what it was. And
Hmm.
um I like the team who would get it would be like, "Oh, I know this." And then it would cause other teams to be like, "Should we know this?" Because it's just that sort of precise sort of question,
Nice.
and it worked. It was a question about Homestuck, like what Homestuck was,
Hmm.
which for something that lasted longer than the Confederacy and was a decent part of the internet, not a whole lot of people know about still.
Yeah, it's very niche
Yeah,
or like cult-ish, cult classic-ish.
very cultish. And one team got it, and like a bunch of other teams were trying to figure out what it was. Though oddly enough, I did ask a question nobody got, but like how we do trivia is like there's a gimme word
Hmm.
where like at any point you could give the little gimme word, the little mulligan word, and you get the
Hmm.
point. If it was a multiple point question and you only put the gimme word for one thing, you only get 1 point. But almost everybody, I asked what 12-letter word meant like unusual or like out of the ordinary or like out of sense,
Hmm.
and they had to spell it right. Nobody got it. The word is preposterous.
I think that would be well. That sounds like a good trivia question because it would be like common enough,
Yeah.
but like people might not think of it just because they don't use it a ton in day-to-day life,
Yeah,
which I think in and of itself is preposterous.
absolutely. Anyway, what's your favorite magic card before we hang up?
Hmm.
Or cards?
So, like my all-time favorite ride or die Scar Guild Mage. You love the you love the low power floor with like some decent activated abilities for your games of limited in that format was very important. Um,
Is that your favorite
oh,
creature?
and just very useful. That would be my
If it's your favorite card, that's fine too.
that
But
would
all my guests, I'll add on a thing of their choice to the canvas. If that's your
mhm.
favorite creature, I'll add it on.
I would say that my favorite creature like all time um for everything in Magic would be Monastery Swift Spear.
Okay.
Um, the cons printing. Um, it's my ride or die. my red 1-drop aggressive creature. It isn't even good enough for standard nowadays.
It's good. It was good in Popper, then it got banned.
Yeah, it was too good in Popper. It needed banned. It was
It was a menace.
It was a menace. It was really good. I really liked playing that card. But it was like first card I took to an F&M, played it, won the F&M, played it through all its time in standard. I still play it in this standard format. When I get a chance to play the standard format.
It's used in a few decks.
That's definitely, yeah, it's still in a few decks, like some of the older builds of Gruul Prowess,
Yeah.
or Gruul Leyline. It's in, and it's in a lot of, like, it was in a lot of the Boros Burn lists, which haven't made a comeback. They should make a comeback.
That's what I was playing
Despite
standard for a little bit.
despite standard, you should give it a try again. The mana is so much better now. You have a Verge.
No, I played it after the Verge came out.
Oh,
Wait, is that did that Verge come out in Duskmourn, or did that come out in Race Set?
They came out in Race Car Set and Wacky Racers Set. The Red White Verge did.
I haven't played standard in the Race Car Set.
It's domain right now.
Neat.
There's a lot of domain. You can just kill them with burn spells.
All right.
Pew 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 pew.
I need to get back into doing 60 card formats on Arena because I was really enjoying it for a bit, and like my Pioneer pet deck is practically on Arena. I just upgraded it, and like you and I talked about it.
Yeah, Boros Rock Music, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it did really well. Like now, my friend Toad, who's like technically the original builder of the deck, and I came up with an alternate version that we call jazz music, or just jazz. That is situationally better, but it doesn't feel better. Like, I know situationally this one is a better deck and has a little bit more resiliency, but it doesn't have as many high highs or low lows.
Yeah.
And like,
which is like,
I like having the more entertaining deck.
Yeah, it's just not as fun.
I like neither of those are like real bad. I mean, they're not like they're like tier 3, tier 2, but like they're underdogs. But we'll see. But thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me. It was a fun time.
Yeah, gladly. Always gladly.
To put it mildly.
I'm looking forward to seeing how the artwork turns out.
Yeah, still waiting for that tongue to dry. That tongue blep to dry again. Before I can do my final detail. The original one that I messed it up on, but
yeah.
That's besides the point.
Alright. Well, thank you very much. If you're on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're on Twitch, make sure to give a follow and share the videos. You can check me out. Oh, where can people check you out?
Blue Sky at dexagos.bsky.social.
Perfect.
And that is the only place you can find me. I refuse to be found elsewhere.
Oh, that's fair. You can find me at the linktree that you see on the screen, like currently. Or just search Beyond the Machina. I'm probably there. Some places I'm there less than others. Some places I'm more there than others. Who knows? That's where you can find me, though. But anyway, thank you. Make sure to like, subscribe. Make sure to follow. Clip if you feel like it, I guess. And we will talk to you all later. Bye!
Bye-bye.